All right, let's get right into it. We are talking about one of the most chilling and pivotal moments in the rise of Nazi Germany, the Night of the Long Knives. This was the moment Adolf Hitler, in an absolutely brutal move, turned on his own.
So, picture this. It's the summer of '34. The Nazis are in power, but things are tense. Then, out of nowhere, a wave of shocking violence sweeps across the country for 3 days, and it's all on Hitler's orders, aimed at his own people. The revolution had started to eat itself.
And that, of course, leads to the big question, right? Why? Why on earth would a leader order a bloody purge of the very people who fought tooth and nail to get him into power? Well, the answer, as it often is, comes down to a bitter, high-stakes power struggle.
To really get what's going on, we have to rewind the clock a bit, back to early 1933. Hitler has just been made chancellor, but he's not a dictator, not yet, and he finds himself caught between two huge competing military forces. He basically has two armies.
See, when he became chancellor, his power wasn't total, not even close. He still had to answer to President Hindenburg. To make his position solid, he desperately needed the backing of Germany's old guard, the traditional elites. And most important of all, he needed the German military on his side.
So on one side, you've got his guys, the SA, the Sturmabteilung. You know them as the brown shirts. These guys were the Nazi Party's private muscle, the street brawlers who beat up political opponents and basically paved the way for Hitler's rise. They were the raw, violent engine of the revolution.
And on the other side, you have the Reichswehr. This is Germany's official professional army. We're talking about a proud, traditional institution led by conservative, aristocratic officers, and they looked at the radical, thuggish SA with total suspicion and contempt.
Now you really have to understand the scale we're talking about here. By 1934, the SA had ballooned to over 3 million men. This wasn't some small political gang. It was a massive revolutionary army waiting in the wings.
Now compare that to the official army, the Reichswehr. Because of the Treaty of Versailles after World War I, they were legally capped at just 100,000 soldiers. So just imagine you're a German general. You're outnumbered 30-1 by this mob of brown shirts that you can't stand. The anxiety was off the charts.
So with these two groups having completely different ideas about what Germany should be, a clash was, well, it was inevitable. They both wanted to be the future of Germany's military, and they were heading straight for each other on a collision course.
Let's just break it down. You have the SA, led by Ernst Röhm. They thought, hey, getting Hitler into power was just step one. They were pushing for a second revolution to completely tear down the old German society. Then you have the Reichswehr, who just wanted to protect their elite status and rebuild their traditional army. You can see how these two ambitions are completely incompatible.
And here's the absolute heart of the conflict. Röhm's ambition wasn't just to be powerful. He wanted his SA to completely replace and absorb the Reichswehr. He basically demanded that his brown shirts become the new German army, and the old pros would be relegated to a training unit. This was an existential threat to the army.
Now Röhm, who was one of Hitler's oldest and closest allies, was getting way too big for his britches. He started acting like he was Hitler's equal, and he grew openly defiant. After one tense meeting, he apparently sneered that he would not take instructions from the ridiculous corporal. I mean, that's not just a disagreement, that's a direct challenge to Hitler's authority.
And that was it. That was the last straw. The army leadership went to Hitler and drew a line in the sand. They gave him an ultimatum. You either get Röhm and the SA under control, or we're going to President Hindenburg, we're going to declare martial law, and your time as chancellor is over. Suddenly, Hitler had to make a choice. And just like that, Hitler had the excuse he needed to act. He chose the professional army over his old revolutionary comrades. It was the decision that would be sealed in blood, and it came at a terrifying price. The whole thing was codenamed Operation Hummingbird, and wow, was it fast and brutal. In the very early hours of June 30th, Hitler himself flies to a hotel and personally arrests a very surprised Röhm. A few hours later, the code word Kolibri, which means hummingbird, goes out, and all across Germany, SS death squads get to work. By the time it was over, just a couple of days later, hundreds were dead. So what's the scorecard after all this bloodshed? Well, the SA as a political force was completely broken. Hitler also used the chaos as cover to get rid of a bunch of other enemies and critics. In exchange, the German army, its rival now gone, swore an oath of loyalty directly to Hitler. And out of all this violence, a new, even scarier organization rose to the top, Heinrich Himmler's SS. They were the ones who did the killing, and they had proven their absolute loyalty.
You see, the Night of the Long Knives wasn't just a simple purge. It was the moment the Nazi movement turned on itself and transformed from this chaotic, brawling party into a streamlined, terrifying dictatorship with Hitler as its one and only master.
By siding with the professional military against his own brown-shirted thugs, Hitler locked in the allegiance of the one group in Germany that could have actually stopped him. He now had complete control over the guns.
And what's really wild is that 2 weeks later, Hitler goes before the German parliament and he doesn't hide what he did, he boasts about it. He gives this speech where he basically declares himself the supreme judge of the nation, personally responsible for its destiny.
And this wasn't just talk. It marked a horrifying legal shift. The government actually passed a law after the fact, making the murders legal, calling them acts of state self-defense. Just like that, centuries of German law were wiped away. The message couldn't have been clearer. Hitler was the law.
Which leaves us with one last, really chilling question to think about. The army got exactly what it wanted. Its rival, the SA, was eliminated. But in making that deal with the devil to save itself, it chained its fate to a regime that would drag it and all of Germany into absolute ruin. So what did its survival truly cost?